Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 18 of the Avengers, written by Jed MacKay. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. Now this issue opens just outside of Pluto's orbit, with an object, with a force of nature, flying towards our Earth like a bullet aimed to destroy. And the name of this bullet was Hyperion. Because as of the last issue, we left off with Hyperion on a last-ditch effort to end it all, in a bang. And on the next page, we pick up at the Impossible City briefing room, with the Avengers going over everything they know about the situation. And during this briefing, the Black Panther stated that they have encountered different versions of Hyperion over the years, so they can't be certain what this one is capable of. But if they assume that this one is like the others, then he is perfectly capable of assuming a velocity approaching light speed in a vacuum of space, which means he would be nearly indestructible. And as for how far away he is currently, Hyperion is a little over 5 billion kilometers between Pluto and Earth. So with the details on the table, Captain Marvel went on to say, with that kind of runway, Hyperion is going to arrive with enough kinetic energy to crack the world in half. Now with that weight on the Cap's shoulders, she had to ask Vision how long do they had. To which, Vision responds by saying, he doesn't know exactly what Hyperion's speed is currently, but he can assume that it would take him in the neighborhood of 5.5 hours. Following that, Thor chimes in and states, even a bullet does not travel in a straight line, and they have the bad fortune to be looking for a bullet the size of a man in over 5 billion kilometers of space. And on a side note, I like how even Thor was doubting their odds of pulling it off. Now with things looking helpless, on the next page, Storm arrives on the scene with Sam right by her side. And after Storm introduced herself again to her old friends, Sam made it be known that he asked her to join them to be the voice of the mutants. So with the goddess at the Avengers' disposal, Captain Marvel was excited to receive Storm's help. For this is a global problem, so they have to coordinate a global response. And the best way to do that is to utilize every asset at their disposal, and lucky for everyone, Captain Marvel knows just who she wants to talk to. Now following that scene, we then fast forward over to the X-Men's factory in Alaska with Storm meeting with Cyclops. And during this conversation, Cyclops asks if she was an Avenger again. To which, Storm replied by saying if she became an Avenger again, then this could be a big opportunity for the rest of mutant kind. With that out there, Cyclops expresses that he sees it the other way around, because to him, the Avengers were getting the better end of the deal, due to how powerful she is. And then he went on to say, there is always a place there for her in the X-Men if she wanted it. Now this may be true, but both Storm and Cyclops know that they can't go back to a place where they have to take orders from each other, because unlike the X-Men, the Avengers is an assembly of equals and not a strike team led by a combat leader. So with that being said, on the next page, Cyclops leads Storm to Quentin Quire, the world's last remaining Cerebro, because apparently, the Avengers need to borrow a psychic. With phase 1 of their plan done, on the next page, we transition over to Tony, the Black Panther, and Vision trying to find additional ways to solve the problem at hand. Because even if they are able to track down Hyperion going at the speed of light, they still need a way to stop him in his tracks. And just as all options were starting to run up dry, Vision received an incoming call from a special someone. And upon answering it, the voice on the other side of the call states, he knows he is the last person they want to see, but he is the only person in the world who knows what this is all about. Because Blade is the only one who remembers a world without the Avengers, a world where Hyperion and the Squadron Supreme of America ran the show, a world created by Mephisto. With that name mentioned, and magic being in play, the next logical step would be to transition over to 177A, Beaker Street and talk with Doctor Strange. And during their conversation, Wanda states, according to Blade, Mephisto created a world where none of them ever became who they are currently. But instead, Hyperion was the greatest hero, as the leader of the Squadron Supreme of America. And the Avengers prevailed and set things right, but only Blade and Hyperion remember it. So with the news out there, Clea took a sip of her drink and stated that she had difficulty accepting the words of the Daywalker, due to the fact that she matched blades with him during the blood hunt event over her lover's body. To this, Strange had to remind his love that Blade wasn't himself but instead possessed. In fact, Wanda also doubled down on Strange's statement and said she too was harmed by Varney, and Blade was harmed the most out of everyone. And since he was an Avenger before, she believes and trusts him. Now with Strange looking into the situation as well, we then find ourselves transiting over to Thor in Asgard. And when we get there, Sam states that Hyperion was a hero just like them. And then his world changed and he didn't have a place in it anymore. So he decided to lash out the only way a superhuman can. Now with that out there, Thor went on to say that to be forgotten by the world is no small thing when one has lived as a giant within it. But the fact remains that they own their duty to the world, not Hyperion. With Thor's stance made clear, Sam opened up a door back to the city and returned. Now with that done, we jump back over to the city with 2 hours and 12 minutes on the clock as Tony spoke with Captain Marvel. And with a heavy heart, Tony said, Captain Marvel may not like what he is about to say, but this is their best shot to save the world. And Tony isn't just saying that, because building weapons again is the dirtiest, guiltiest thrill he allowed himself in recent memory. Because during their talk with Blade revealed that Hyperion is vulnerable to vibranium, so to stop him, they must build a hypersonic area denial missile. So with that revelation out there, the Black Panther went on to say that once they have the trajectory of Hyperion, they will launch the rockets through the city's teleport gate. And once out, the missile will assume an intercept path and explode, filling space with a field of high-velocity vibranium shrapnel. And once Hyperion entered that space, the threat would be eliminated. And one of the ways they are certain that Hyperion would hit the shrapnel field is because due to Hyperion flying as fast as the speed of light, his brain would undergo severe time dilation, which means 5+ hours would feel like 1 minute. So once Hyperion hit the trap laid before him, his speed would be so fast that the shrapnel wouldn't even register to him at all, because Hyperion would have died instantly. So with the trap ready to be sprung, the 3 pillars of this operation to save Earth came online. Storm was ready with the mind portion online, Scarlet Witch was ready with the soul online, and finally, Thor was ready with the eyes online. And just like that, Wanda conducted a spell saying, let 3 become 1, to make the soul, to join with the mind and peer with peerless eyes. 3 made 1, and 3 into 1 again. Soul, mind, and eyes. Magic, mutants, and the gods. And with that spell, the team was able to find Hyperion dashing toward Earth. So with the target found, Tony quickly locked onto his location as the Black Panther launched the rockets, and as it entered the teleporter gate, the city also decided to deploy a plastoid to observe everything. With the weapon now out there, Vision sadly states that this isn't right, and there should have been another way. And with her head hanging low, Captain Marvel responds by saying, there should be one, but Hyperion left them with no time, and strange enough, Cap thinks it is by design. Because she believes Hyperion wanted to die, because he doesn't have anything to live for, and if she was being honest, she believes that he probably thought he would never even make it to Earth. Because she believes that Hyperion did this to put them in the position to where they had to kill him, because they're the only ones who he believes could. And as the chair of the Avengers, she was tasked to make the hard decisions, and this was one of them. So as the trap is set, all the team has left to do is to wait. Until out of nowhere, Vision gets an idea and asks the city if it can create an emergency dimensional gate on Hyperion's trajectory. To which the city said yes, but if it sent Hyperion to another dimension, then the gate would not close for hours, which means Hyperion would be free to return and resume his collision with Earth if he wanted to. Now with this plan, Vision assumes that Hyperion wouldn't want to return once there. Because Hyperion chose death and wanted them to agree, but only they didn't choose death as well. So by the time he notices something isn't right, that he is off course and has slowed himself down, he would have traveled thousands of miles. So once in the new dimension, Hyperion looked around and came across the city's robot and immediately grabbed it and was about to destroy it until it started to speak. And it told him that it was aware that he lost his world similar to how the city lost its. And just like the city, they both wished to end their life, but with the help of the Avengers, the city was able to find something new. So with that said, the Avengers are at it again, and now want to help do the same for Hyperion. Because the dimension the Avengers sent Hyperion had a planet that was scourged by monsters. Its cities have been destroyed, its people abused, and its heroes were all murdered. So in short, this is a world with no heroes, a world that badly needs one, as badly as he needs a reason to live. And with that intervention, Hyperion chooses to stay. Now with that situation dealt with, we then pick up much later with Thor talking with Storm, and during their conversation, Thor asks if Storm has accepted the Avengers' offer. To which Storm answered that she was still considering if she should. Now with that answer given, Thor tells her to accept it, because they will need her, they will need a thunder god. Because following the events of Immortal Thor, Thor was now embroiled in difficulties, for he has been falsely accused of murder, and because of that, he must leave the Avengers. Because Thor believes his friends deserve not to be tarred with the same brush as him. So with that out there, Thor took a hold of Storm's hand and asked if once more Storm would become an Avenger and speak for her people. Because a god of thunder must ride with the Avengers. And with that said, this issue comes to an end. But anyway, if you want to stay in the loop about any individual storyline, then how about you hop over to the playlist section down below or in the link cards above to get all caught up on the Avengers runs. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.